You smell
Someone cooked here.
that was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What's up, guys? Trey, Seahawks fan, Lucario. What's going on, guys? Cool breeze, hey.
You
Lucario
really did Lucario like that, bro. That's crazy.
He got timed out. I don't know what happened. Mariners making moves. Yes, yes, yes. Dude, right? What a day to be a Mariners fan. What an interesting day. Joe, riddle to me what it was like for you to find out.
Am I scratchy, by the way?
Not currently.
All right, cool. I moved my mic to be a little bit closer. But what was it like for me to find out at work, on the floor, unable to really scroll the way I needed to figure out all this information? Hectic. It was crazy. I was in shock to see that it was Robbie Ray that got traded. I did not expect that really at all this offseason, mainly because of the contract that he's on and the injury, right? Like, I don't know if it makes sense to trade him or not. I don't know. I was just in shock. But Lorenzo, $1.99 super chat. Big Daddy Mitch is back. We're so back. So back. So back. That'll pop up with the alerts here shortly, but like maybe not shortly because super chats take a minute. But yeah, I was taken aback. And I'm pretty okay with the return from the Giants. I know that the potential for Robbie Ray being more valuable than Mitch Haniger and Anthony DeSclafani, it's decent because Mitch being healthy, big question mark. But like Robbie Ray being a little bit better than league average, I think he could probably pencil it in once he comes back. But the issue was the injury. Mm-hmm. He's not going to pitch until the All-Star break, so you're guaranteeing most everybody that you want to have on your roster game 162 will be on your roster game 161. I feel like.
I heard Haniger was on a plane headed to Toronto.
Game 1. But yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty satisfied from the day. I have a question for you.
Yes.
How surprised are you that it was just Rayleigh for Caballero? Because
I'm incredibly surprised.
You were like dead red on the fact that this is more. There's gonna be more, and it just like everyone's like, no, dude, this is it. I was pretty surprised. It's just like, you know,
1 for 1. It just shocks me that the Rays would give up Rayleigh for Caballero. I understand, like, you know, Cabby, he 2.4 WAR in 2023 compared to like the 2.8 or whatever that Rayleigh had, or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't remember the exact numbers. But the fact that they were willing to give up Luke Rayleigh, who's going to be 30 years old in 2023, but Cabby's not necessarily young either. I think he's 28. And obviously Luke Rayleigh's had a bit more sustained success, and the war between the two players came in a different way. So yeah. Luke Rayleigh, it really came from offensive production. It came from swatting homers, driving doubles, so on and so forth. His OPS plus was like 128 or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas Jose Caballero, his OPS plus is like 84 or something. Yeah. But his yeah. Stop saying yeah.
I'm agreeing with you.
I
just want to talk.
Yeah, finally. That's all it takes. Time. Whereas Jose Caballero, his war came from stolen bags and his defense. Now, the thing with these two is let's say that JP gets hurt. I feel like the next guy up probably would have been Cabby. So now you're probably looking at Dylan Moore. Like, I don't know. Do you feel comfortable moving? Like, I don't know. Do you feel comfortable moving Josh Rojas over there, Joe? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Luis Urias is right there. He can play shortstop as well. Ryan Bliss, I think, is definitely going to see a larger role than the original intention because of Cabby not being available. And I don't know. I think any of them in a pinch will be fine. But I saw someone ask what role does DeSclafani play, but they've confirmed that they're just going to roll with the same pitchers that they ended with last year, all 5. Castillo, Kirby, Gilbert, Miller, Wu, as like the 5 going to spring training, and he will be the long man out of the pen. Swap start 6th, Isaac. I appreciate you defending me. We good now, bro. We good. DeSclafani, he's just going to be like starting pitching depth. He's going to be ahead of Hancock in terms of that because, just give time Hancock more time to develop in the minors, but if somehow, some way, there's an injury during the regular season, DeSclafani's there to pitch, as opposed to having to have Hancock step into that role. So this is what you started, by the way, Colton. You did that.
I got the timeout hammer ready, bro. Putting everybody in timeout.
You did that. That's your fault. They want to hear me say yeah.
To become a member, Lorenzo, if you hit join down at the bottom of your screen, you can become a member through that. $2.99, 16 cents, whatever it was Lucario said, in tax. So, but yeah, no, I agree. I think that I was shocked, super shocked, that they are still not willing to trade one of Miller or Wu. It just doesn't make any sense to me, because is this team better than it was yesterday? Absolutely. And it's not necessarily close. Also, thank you, Lorenzo, for the 199 super chat, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah. Is this team better than it was last year? In my opinion, still no.
It's probably close. Obviously it's closer. But only 78 to 82, Christian? I think we're at like 86 to 87. Because I feel more comfortable with DeSclafani than I do Marco. I think.
Fair.
And we know what we can get out of Miller and Wu, which I think is a higher volume, just a higher ceiling, higher performance than Marco or DeSclafani. So I think pitching overall heading into next year compared to what we were heading into last year, we're better in terms of the pitching department. And offensively, I think we might just be lacking a little bit of maybe been there, done that guys like Gino, Teo, whatever. Like, we're definitely missing a lot of those guys, and there's a huge question mark at third base. And I think that is probably the biggest hang up with why I'm probably still like at 86 to 87. But I can understand why people are probably still a little bit lower than that, just because I think I'm a little bit, not to say higher on Luis Urias, but I'm not as pessimistic, I think, as the rest of the crowd, which I get why people are, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty pessimistic about Urias going into 2024.
Yeah.
I think that, so Trey's asking about, how low are the chances? At this point, I'd say they're non-existent based on what we heard today come out later. And maybe that is just the Mariners saying something, but then they're going to go back on that, trying to drive up the price. Yeah. Like, maybe they trade Emerson Hancock for someone like that. I don't know. But I think looking at this team right now, your outfield's probably set.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Mitch and Dominic Canzone in right field. And then you have Luke Raley, more than likely, as your everyday left fielder. Is that necessarily the greatest left fielder in the world? No.
Mm-mm.
No, it's not. But they have more than 10. I'd say they probably have about maybe like $13 to $15 million to spend.
Yeah.
Still. So there's still money. That's the thing, is that this deal, because all these trades did not change the Mariners' salary or payroll at all going into 2024. It's still exactly the same. So they still have the money to go out there and spend if they want to. And Christian brings up some of the points with Luke Raley. 31% strikeout rate, a 1% barrel. Yeah, not great. Not great numbers for Luke Raley, but he produced in 2023. And there was an interesting point that I thought was brought up by, I don't remember who it was, somebody on Twitter. But because of this trade, the Mariners are now not going to have to pay Robbie Ray $25 million in 2026. So, and they saved themselves $7.5 million next year as well. So there's a chance maybe they go out there and sign a free agent to a backloaded contract over the next couple of years, to where that money would have been, the money that was going to be spent on Robbie Ray in 2026 is now being spent there. I don't know, but I think that would be very interesting to see, like, if that could happen.
I'm seeing some signed Snells. I think, I mean, if we sign Snell, it's just then we're trading Miller or Wu, because I don't see why we would retain all of them. That would just feel like a waste of roster in general, just because, like, what you have in Miller or Wu, unless obviously you just have to trade them. And with the comments, like you said earlier, it seems like they don't want to trade them. Like, they said that we looked at it, we laid the groundwork for what a trade would look like with involving one of those guys, and they did not like how it turned out. And so they're probably just going to hold all their cards. They're going to keep their hand. They're not going to give any back. And signing Snell with that in mind just doesn't make sense for me. Just like looking at this roster, like, why would we do that? And I don't know. I think there's been some murmuring on the Twitters that third base is definitely still the spot that we have some problems with. And there's one third baseman that's pretty prevalent on the free agent market still. You know who it's going to be. And a backloaded contract for Matt Chapman is definitely something that I'm not saying I want it, because I also do not really love Matt Chapman. But if we're going to go spend money in free agency, of the remaining players in the free agent pool at third base, or maybe even second base, if you move the platoon of Urias and Rojas to third and you go out and sign a second baseman, the only one that's really worthy of a big contract that's like a big offensive upgrade is Matt Chapman. That like could be worth it if he is any sort of semblance of his previous self. So like, is it a trade then? Are we trading for a guy at that place if we're upgrading? Like, if we're set in the outfield, then we have to look to the infield to fill out the roster spot, or like we're fielding Sam Haggerty and Dylan Moore as part of our bench, along with Dom Canzone as the platoon with Mitch, or if Mitch needs to, what have you. And so I don't know. I was looking around the rest of the free agents, and yeah, it's literally, I think, just Matt Chapman that is of, I think, significant consideration for like a big upgrade. I'm gonna put quotes around that.
So let's talk a little bit then. If we're saying, that let's say maybe the outfield isn't filled. So let's say it doesn't have to be a third baseman, and let's say Luke Raley is more of a bench guy, more of a platoon. He still plays 4 or 5 times a week, but he rotates around, gives guys days off. Maybe that is his role. And honestly, I would prefer him in that role than as the everyday left fielder. I would prefer him in a guy that gives a day off to someone in the outfield and gives a day off to Ty France at first base, or platoons with him there in some capacity, and then the Mariners go out and sign an outfielder. Like, I mean, again, I don't necessarily want it to be Teoscar Hernandez, but like it could be. And another person that was once again mentioned by Nightingale was Jorge Soler, which doesn't make any sense. And obviously that's probably just outdated information, but whether that trade be then to go out and still get Randy, I don't know. Like, if the Mariners are, do you think that Emerson Hancock and like, oh goodness, I don't even know. Like some sort of high upside but pretty far away prospect gets you Randy Arozarena?
I think it could. And like, Mariners Access is saying Randy Arozarena. Hello, Liam.
Hey man, hi.
Pleasure to have you in the stream. I think Randy's still within reason. I mean, they just traded Andrew Kittredge for Richie Palacios, I think, with the Cardinals. I just like saying his name like that. Don't worry about it. So do they still need or want pitching? I mean, it's the Rays. They're always probably going to be looking for it. It's just weird that the move doesn't happen the same time as the Raley trade, right?
Right.
Which is just confusing, because we're just going to keep trading with the same teams over and over again until like everything fits. So it's just kind of bizarre that things kind of move slowly or differently depending on the pieces going back. Emerson Hancock and like, I think Gabby Gonzalez. Like, if you go with like Gabby, that's pretty like top. Like Gabby and Emerson Hancock for Randy. I mean, I'd do it because I'm pretty low on Gabby overall. Don't know how the Rays are feeling about it, whether or not they want it. That's tough, Seahawks fan. And I think it's definitely within reason. And I would just be not like worried, but more so like, are we just like clogging those positions by not letting guys like Luke Raley have more at bats? His splits aren't terrible against lefties last year. He hit 268, 302, 439 with a 741 OPS. It was in only 40 at bats. So keep that in mind. Very, very limited action. And so, maybe they don't want him facing any left-handed pitching, but I don't know. I would be fine if we went into spring training with this being the outfield, but I could also see why people want to continue to upgrade it, because like, why not?
I think if this team makes one more move for an impact bat to either fill the spot of either a left fielder and then have Raley move around, or to fill third or second base, this team is better than it was in 2023.
Yeah.
It's all it would take, in my opinion, is just something like that. So I think that what that move could be, I don't know. Because at this point, the Mariners need to spend that money. If payroll is going to be higher, how are they going to spend? Like, what is that money going to be on? And everyone's talking about Willie Adames, for example. I think that's a good fit. I think that Adames would be an interesting guy to add. I haven't really looked too deep into his numbers, but I think that he would be an upgrade over Urias, another guy that came from the Brewers. But I think that, yeah, I mean, so people like Brandon's mentioning Kepler and Polanco. Maybe that's the trade. And maybe you have Kepler and Polanco, or Kepler out there and left, and then Polanco's that guy on the bench who replaces Sam Haggerty. Because right now the bench is still not great. It's Sebi Zavala, Dylan Moore, Sam Haggerty, and
Dom
one of either
Canzone
Haniger or Dom Canzone.
Yeah.
So I still want the bench to be better, and maybe that's the move. I don't necessarily think that Polanco should be an everyday starter, but I would rather have him at second or third base over the guys that are currently there.
For Willie Adames, I just think the package might be too expensive, and I'm pretty sure he's getting paid decently from arbitration. But last year he only put up a 95 OPS plus.
Yeah.
Previously, like when he first got acquired from the Brewers, is when he went nuclear, put up a 137 OPS plus in the second half in 99 games. But since then, he's been on the decline, and he's fine. It's just for what we'd have to give up and what he's owed in arbitration. It's not my ideal move. He's going to get paid $12 million in arbitration next year. That would take up pretty much the rest of your budget. So you'd move him to third or second, whatever you want to do, and then you platoon Urias and Rojas, which would be okay. But for the cost plus what it would be in arbitration, I just don't know if I love the fit. I'd rather get Kepler Polanco, and that trade you probably trade Ty France. So then you free up the money there because like it's going to be $20 million payroll hit from Kepler and Polanco, so you probably trade Ty France there, and then Rayleigh's your first baseman. It's just there's a lot of moving parts that like what's the next move is such a hard question to answer right now because there's like needs within the lineup to add one more impact piece. I agree. I think the lineup is one piece away from probably taking the AL West, like pretty like not soundly, but like a pretty solid piece. And if we remove Ty France from that, is like adding Kepler and Polanco into that like that much better? I don't know. It seems more of like I think a little bit forward, but still pretty lateral. And so it's just well, I don't know. I don't know, and I just want to know, but I don't.
A package for Adames. I mean, he is in the final year of his contract, and I feel like if the Brewers are trying to move on from salary in some way, shape, or form, maybe if the Mariners are willing to take on that whole salary, fill out. I mean, if that is the rest of the money they spend this offseason, I'm fine with him being the guy at third base. I'm fine with that over Urias, and like you said, having Urias and Rojas at second base. I think that is a good part of a good addition to the lineup. 20-something home runs, still not the greatest player you're ever going to see, but I think he is a step up from Urias. He's basically Urias, but better. Is the way I look at it. But then is Urias and Rojas, like, is it a little just too repetitive on your roster? I don't know. All I know is if the Mariners go into 2024 with their bench as it currently is, you're still chalked.
Yeah, I saw a tweet from Aram Layton, Just Baseball Media person, and he was saying like lots to like about the trades from today, but if the Mariners are still like not spending money, it's still just like a slap to the face because we still have money to spend. And there's still ways to upgrade this roster, and I don't know if because you're talking about like maybe a backloaded contract like Bellinger doesn't make really much sense with like roster fit because we have Bellinger at home now with Luke Raley pretty much outfield first baseman, he's right there. So of like the top of the class, like there's not a whole lot that makes sense specifically with what they've said today about keeping the pitching like the pitching staff intact. So maybe they trade from their bullpen and they sign a bullpen piece, but like they've never done that ever. But I could see like trading like Topa or trading Spire. I would hate for them to trade Brash. That would be like I mean you'd get a pretty big return potentially, but trading Topa, Spire, I mean I don't think you can get much for other guys like Bizardo or Thornton. Maybe you can sell high on Prelander, but I don't. Yeah. I was looking around at like second baseman to try and like see if there's a fit there with like maybe like Glaber or of course Jonathan India is a name that's probably gonna find its way back into the rotation. But is that necessarily an upgrade? No. No. So Glaber's
Um,
interesting. It's just his price is probably pretty high.
yeah, I think that Mariners act like any player they get in a trade is the next Babe Ruth. What? No, they don't. We are literally talking about why this team is still far away.
We need one. Well, far
What are
away.
you talking about, bro?
Far.
How does Morosi still have a job? Great question. Hi, accent. Hey.
Hello, accent.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that let's just say for a minute that the Mariners do, for some reason, trade Matt Brash, which I don't think will happen, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
But if they did, I mean, what do you think that return would look like? Like that'd be a hell of a return.
It depends on obviously what team is after Matt
Yeah.
Brash's services, and obviously I think any team in the MLB would probably want him. But you could get Gleyber Torres easily 1-for-1, and you'd still want more for Matt Brash. Like whether or not you fill it out with like another reliever from the Yankees in that way, like not obviously not on his same level or one of like their top guys like Clay Holmes is definitely not going to be coming back because like that just doesn't make sense for personnel. But I think Glaber is pretty much like I would say you get Glaber and more. Accent saying Spencer Steer. I mean, it's in a similar ballpark for me of like I would say Glaber and more because you don't have the control. Spencer Steer, you have the control, so like that's probably pretty accurate. I would say.
I honestly, accent, and maybe I'm just overvaluing, but I think that Brash would net you more than just Spencer Steer. Thoughts? Not like a lot more, but like maybe like a lottery ticket guy.
Yeah.
But I think that it would be more than just Spencer Steer. I don't know. Like Brash is so versatile at this point. I mean, you know, we know that he could start. He shouldn't, but he could.
Mm-hmm.
But he really does have the chance to become one of the best relievers in all of baseball. And we look at like let's think about like the Aroldis Chapman trade when he went to the Cubs. We saw like who was it that went back in that trade? Gleyber Torres. That's how the Yankees got him, and who else? Gosh, I can't remember. Like,
I'll look it up for you.
Yeah.
John Snow, appreciate the $1.99 super chat. 54% joke.
54%.
Take it off place it on your bingo card.
We should do bingo cards.
That could be fun.
We should do bingo cards for stream. I is still below a 54% win team. I mean, winning 54% of the games last year almost put the Mariners in the playoffs against the team that won the World Series. So,
the Yankees traded Aroldis Chapman to the Cubs in exchange for Adam Warren, Gleyber Torres, Billy McKinney, and Rashad Crawford. I mean, so it's four guys. I mean, Gleyber's I think really
obviously Gleyber wasn't. Yeah, Adam Warren was really good when he was with the Yankees before he came to the Mariners.
Before he
became bad.
Before his career died.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. If I'm looking at this team right now, I'd say this team is currently an 84 to 90 win team right now. Somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah. I don't see below 500 really.
Before this trade, I said this team was a below 500 team. But the Mariners just added one Yeah, Joe.
She's an informed individual. She's an informed fan about Mitch Haniger's situation. Mine, Liam, mine. I think your lineup, by the way, I know it's like chat's moving kind of fast.
Oh yeah, sorry, Liam.
Your lineup, like that's gas. Gas. I'd be in. I mean, Randy is obviously an upgrade over having Rayleigh and Haniger both be like everyday guys, or like it increases the length of the lineup in a very good way, and I can see it still happening. It's just for me, it's hard to imagine trading with a team that you've already traded with in the offseason at the same time. But it's just like just keep it going, I guess. Just keep it going because we traded twice with the Brewers last year with Colton Wong, and it was Justin Topa, so could happen again.
Say 84 to 90 wins ain't getting you out of bed. What do you want? You want them to win 120 games?
117 win season. I saw it earlier in chat. We're gonna break the win record.
We would trade everyone we've acquired this season just to get Kelnick and Gino back, so we can run back the exact same team as last season.
Run it back. Appreciate the $4.99. I mean, personally, I would love Jared Kelnick back, but to me, it seems like we have him and Luke Raley pretty much, just without the like super high potential, the super high ceiling. Like I think if right now Luke Raley is just like who he is forever, that's fine. Whereas like with Jared, you never knew because there was that just like that air around him, and who knows, maybe he never would have made it to that level with the Mariners. And a change of senior, like going to Atlanta, could help him elevate his game in that way. So it's just, I think if we were to reverse this entire offseason, the team is just going to be objectively worse going to next year than it is. Like if we stayed pat, didn't do anything, I think the team would win less games.
I agree.
Than the team that is currently with us.
Zero doubt in my mind. This team is better today than it was yesterday, and if you don't think so, you're wrong. Plain and simple. You are just wrong.
It's deeper. There's less issues with strikeouts and overall just whiff percentage. I know Luke Raley is a huge strikeout percentage.
Can I say something really quick before it passes?
Yeah.
Hey, Spencer, Trevor Bauer's a righty. Have a good day.
Bang. Imagine. Never mind. I don't know where I was going to go with that. Luke Raley strikeout percent. Yeah, I mean, we added a pretty high strikeout guy, but he's not guaranteed to be a everyday player. Everything that we have added this offseason in terms of like retooling the offense, on paper, should work out in favor for the team. We thought Colton Wong was going to be fine last year. He wasn't. We thought AJ Pollock was going to be fine last year. He wasn't. Could Mitch Haniger be AJ Pollock again? Maybe. Could Luis Urias be Colton Wong again? Maybe.
But there is... can't Driveline make Ty a Gold Glove at third base? Yeah, dude.
Driveline can do anything.
With how bad Colton Wong and AJ Pollock were last year, I think it's a pretty safe bet to say that Mitch Haniger, at least one of Mitch Haniger or Luis Urias, is going to be better. Like,
it's not
you
hard.
Can't
the bar's low.
The bar is so low. Like, you can't be much worse than Colton Wong was last year. And I like the guy, but he was that bad.
Yeah.
So, like, don't forget about Jesse Winker. Bring him home, dude. Put him in left. Like I was saying, like what Joe was hinting at, if the Mariners add one player, put him in left field, and Luke Raley becomes a guy who moves around the infield a little bit, he can play first base, and Luis Urias has an opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. Okay. No, guys, Ty France can't play third. Guys, Ty France can't play third. No.
Please, no. That is in the past.
Ty France can't play third. No.
We don't want to see it.
But yeah, if you're able to get another outfielder, in my opinion, another everyday guy, because the 1.5 outfielders, if Mitch is the half, I think that's fine. That's a fine half an outfielder to platoon with Dominic Canzone, in my opinion. But the one outfielder, I don't necessarily know if it should be. What are you looking at? You were like looking up. You're like,
I'm thinking. I'm looking up to the cloud above me.
I can see the steam, but I think that Luke Raley doesn't necessarily need to be the one in that 1.5 outfielder. I would still rather him be more of a super utility guy who can move around all the positions, platoon with Ty France, maybe play second base if you really want him to. That's what he was doing with the Dodgers. I don't know how realistic that is, but he can play all the outfield spots. I would much rather have that than have Luke Raley be your everyday guy in left field.
I'm sorry, Luke Raley played second base?
Yeah, when he was with the Dodgers, didn't he?
No.
Am I wrong?
You're wrong.
No?
You're wrong.
Is that true?
He's only played the outfield and first base.
Is that a fact?
Yes.
Oh. What am I thinking?
I have no idea. Mookie Betts?
No, I'm not thinking Mookie friggin' Betts. Did you see his baseball savant rankings?
Mookie's?
They're ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's good at baseball, bro.
But like ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, who was I thinking? I'm so confused.
Yeah, Roman Chain's correct. I'm looking to the baseball gods for any sort of sign or an answer, just to help put my mind at ease.
Okay.
Mitch is the one. Dipoto confirmed he'll be the one as long as he's healthy. Yeah, giving him as many starts out in right field as he can, so long as his body is permitting. It's an interesting tactic. I will say it is an interesting tactic. I don't necessarily love the idea, but I think there's enough depth in the outfield specifically that if you lose him for extended time, you're not gonna die. Like you're not gonna fall under. I think, but it's just you have to hope that he's healthy. Mitch at DH, we're doing that. It's Mitch Garver. It's kind of hard with Garver being pretty much a full-time DH to allow Mitch Haniger some DH days, but they'll work it in somehow, some way. Garver can catch like once in a blue moon. Maybe he'll go play for I don't know. But we've got a $9.99 super chat from John.
John
throwing money at us.
John, I appreciate the super chat. I really want to pick it apart a little bit, but I'm not going to. But I will say that no sluggers. I mean, Mitch Garver had a higher home run percentage last year than Ronald Acuna Jr.
So if he's healthy for 120, you're penciling him in for like
25 to 30 home runs.
Yeah. And
Mitch
so we're playing
39 years ago.
Yeah, we are playing fantasy baseball with projections, essentially, trying to figure out how the roster is going to be constructed. And so, yeah, we don't have the star slugger necessarily because we haven't seen it happen yet. But if everything, falls into place as we just can only hope that it does, we may have gotten that star slugger. So, regardless, thank you for the 10.
Yeah, no, appreciate it, John. I just think over 30's an injury prone. Mitch won't play more than 60 games, and I love Mitch. I mean, it is what it is. You got to do something. You got to do something. It's not like there was a guy that was just waiting to fall into your lap that fits this bill of there's a reason that those superstar players aren't available. They're not, unless you're willing to give up everything. You want to give up George Kirby and go get, I don't know, who's a good player to talk about here? Who was available this offseason in a trade that was a superstar?
Like Juan Soto?
Well, you want to give up George Kirby to go get Juan Soto? No.
Like 1-for-1? Definitely no. But
no.
That's the only world where that trade would happen.
Yeah. Like they're unless you're willing to give up all of your top guys. It's just that those guys don't exist. Those guys do not exist. Do the Mariners strike out less? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Than last year? Yeah. It'll be incredibly hard for the Mariners to replicate how bad they were last year in terms of strikeouts because of Reynolds drastically overrated. True. Because of how bad Gino and Teo both were.
Yeah.
They were both, 2 and 3.
I think.
You would trade George Kirby for Jackson Holiday? John. Let's lay off the fairy dust really quick. What's going on here? You all right, John? Everything okay at home?
Everything okay at home, bro. Yeah, I mean, Teo 211, Gino 214 led the American League. I think it was only behind Schwarber in the MLB.
I think so, something like that.
Of course, the team's going to strike out less, and limiting the strikeouts and limiting the guys that do strike out a bunch, like we've mentioned, Rayleigh's strikeout percentage. It's not good. It's above 30%. It's gone down every year, but it's been minimal. But he's not going to get 598 at bats. He's not going to play in 162 games. And so that's why the strikeouts are going to happen less often. Just plain and simple.
You saw Vogie on Christmas in Oregon this year. Did you say hi and tell him that I love him?
I don't think so. I don't think they knew to tell Daniel Vogelbach that Colton from Mariner Mojo loves him. But
I met him once and asked him if he knew about his nickname Cornelius. He said no.
Is that his official nickname?
That's the nickname I gave him, and it caught on a little bit for a while. People around Mariners Twitter were calling him Cornelius for like a week, and then that died.
And then Danny Burgers.
Yeah, and then Danny Burgers came around. Yeah. You would trade the entire farm for one World Series, right? But even if you trade the entire farm, you can't guarantee it. Like, no, if I could guarantee that the Mariners were going to win the World Series in 2024, if I traded away the entire farm system, yeah, I'd do it. You can't guarantee it, so doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you trade for. Look at the Mets and the Padres last year. Two horrible. Frank called them Vogel fat. True. Two horrible franchises last year, but they had made such big moves. You just can't. It's not possible. Let's get Polanco. I mean, I think that Polanco does fit right now. I think he does. And if they were to go out and get Polanco right now, sure. Like, I think it makes sense. Like, I think that he could fill in at second or third base, but is he the impact bat you need? I don't know. I'm not sure. Again, is he an upgrade over Rojas or Urias? Probably. But still, I think that, I don't know. I still think that Randy Arozarena fits his team really well. Even with everything that has happened, I think that he fits really well.
I mean, that you could just take Sam Haggerty off the roster and put Randy Arozarena in there. Of course, adding in an everyday player into your lineup does still fit. It's just at what cost, what price. What trade do you like more? I think it's pretty easy, like the Luke Raley, Jose Caballero trade.
Of these two trades, yeah.
Yeah.
Luke Raley for Jose Caballero, I think, was an absolute steal, in my opinion, steal of a deal. Whereas the other one, you traded, a guy who's not going to be able to pitch for, the first 4 months of the season for a guy who can pitch for the first 4 months, but isn't as good. Yeah. Objectively, Robbie Ray is better. And you get an interesting guy back who's making quite a bit of money in Mitch Haniger, someone who knows the team really, really well, and everybody knows him. Everybody loves Mitch Haniger. We all know about his injury history, but we all know how good Mitch Haniger is when he's healthy. And I think that what Jerry Dipoto said about Haniger being the one, like the everyday guy, it makes sense if he is the guy that he was, when he played. He's like Mitch Garver. When he plays, he's good. Mm-hmm. It's just getting him on the field.
The desperation for a shortstop is I don't necessarily want to talk about the overarching problem there, but I would concede that idea that the Rays need some depth at shortstop because they've got third, second, and first pretty much all locked up with a lot of their guys. But shortstop, very much so a big issue. I don't want to run Taylor Walls out there again or whoever they were running out the second half of last year. So Cabby, he's good defensively. He's not going to do much with his bat there for Tampa Bay. I wish him the best. If he's their everyday shortstop for a little bit until they figure out something else, that's great. It's just he didn't really fit on the roster, whereas Luke Raley fits on our roster a ton. I understand why, because I saw a little bit of like back and forth between like just Twitter discourse of like, oh, the Mariners sold high on Cabby, the Rays sold high on Raley, like Raley's prime regression target. Cabby can grow his offensive skills still. There's both sides to it. And I think just it makes sense for both teams with what they got. Like this is, I think, a very easy win-win trade for both teams. Because Luke Raley, maybe he never puts up a 130 OPS plus again, but if he's like a 110, 115 guy, great.
That's great.
And Cabby, if he's playing stellar defense, stealing bags, but he's only putting up a 90 OPS plus, that's fine because his value comes from defense and whatever. It's just like what his value comes from. But by lame, nice try, bro.
I'm so bad at spelling, bro. Gosh darn it. All the moves today essentially added 0.00 to the Mariners' payroll. Is Stanton just pocketing the money? I mean, we won't know. We won't know until, day one. Until the season starts, we won't know if the Mariners are going to do anything with that extra $10 to $15 million. So if opening day comes around and they haven't done anything, hey, Redcon, what's up, dude? Love you, bro. If they haven't done anything with that money, then sure, that's a problem. With that being said, they say that they're going to have a higher payroll than next year. But when you look at what they've done, it just goes to show how good the Mariners front office is at making things work when they're put in a shit situation. Because that is what they were this offseason. Is when, with how John Stanton had taken away money from them at the beginning of this offseason, they were still able to turn this team better into what it was at the end of 2023. It's just better. So just said we have 20 plus now. It's possible. No, it's possible that the Mariners do have that much because theoretically they're at 125. What were they at last year? 140. So let's assume, right, that they're able to, because if they're going to spend more, that we've heard two rumors. One, that they only had $20 to $25 million to spend. That was one of the rumors we heard. The other was that it's going to be higher than it was last year. So if they were to spend another $25 million, that put them at $10 million more than they had spent in 2023. That's great. Like, that's fine.
Mhm.
But if they spend that $25 million, it'll be who they spend it on. I think it needs to be at least one more impact bat. And then maybe, I don't know. I personally still think they should add a reliever. I still do.
You're still in that boat.
Still in that boat.
Darren Gosler at Goose 1701, someone that I saw Jade reference a bunch on Twitter about Mariners payroll, has a document, like a living document of the Mariners payroll, and according to his calculations, and it's including salary, arbitration projections, with the money also coming back from the Giants, he just attributed it to DeSclafani's, I think, value in there. The Mariners payroll stands at 121 million, 135,000. So 121. You were saying 125, I think, when you were speaking there.
Oh, right, yeah, because he didn't factor in the extra $3 million, right?
No, I think he did.
I think when he originally made it, he didn't. I might be wrong. Anyway, sorry, continue.
It says with the corrected payments from the Giants and Mariners, blah blah blah, payroll stands at 121 million. Regardless, 120 to 125 is where we're at right now. That's 15 to 20 to play with if the figures are still accurate for what we've been told the entire offseason. And if it's 20 plus, like Locked On saying, that's great. That gives you a lot more room to actually make some pretty big impact, I think, in terms of the value that you can go get on the free agent market if they see the right guy out there. But I don't know. I mean, I mentioned Matt Chapman. You're like, gross.
I just
no, I don't disagree. I don't think Matt Chapman's the answer. It's just that is like the big third baseman guy that's still available that would allow you to move Urias into a platoon role instead of having him be your everyday third base. It's not going to be Josh Donaldson. We're not going to go out inside 38-year-old Josh Donaldson to be a clubhouse cancer. I can tell you that. So it's just
go get anyone that used to be a third baseman for the Athletics.
Exactly. Bring back Brett Laurie.
Whoa, that's a name I haven't heard in a minute. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that, like I said earlier, this team is better today than it was yesterday. Is it better today than it was in 2023? Maybe. That is very dependent on guys staying healthy. Oh gosh, Brett Rooker. Oh gosh.
If we want to add another high strikeout guy, but
idea. We're bringing back the Jack Z era. All right. We're just getting a bunch of guys that should be DHs.
Perfect.
Thoughts?
Just run it back.
Let's get Corey Hart and
Jason Bay.
Jason Bay. Who else was on the team at that time?
Eric Chavez.
Kendrys Morales. Get Noelvi back for third base. I mean, I would love it if he was available. I doubt he's available. Jesus Aguilar. There you go. Perfect. Bring him home. Bring Aguilar back. Or bring him here. I guess he was a free agent for the Mariners for like a week, right?
Was that when he was just bouncing around teams?
I think so.
Russell Branyan mention?
Yes! Vogie playing left field for the Mariners. Let's go. Oh, baby.
I think I can get behind Ty France for Max Kepler than sign Rhys Hoskins. That retcon said. I think Ty France and one other small thing for Max Kepler could be done. I don't know why it would make sense for the Twins unless you give them like a high upside guy that's a prospect. But that works out money-wise, I think, because Ty's owed about 7, Kepler's owed about 10, and then you go sign Hoskins for 16 to 17. It's just Hoskins is an interesting situation because it would be a prove-it deal. He'd probably sign a 1-year deal with wherever he's going, unless some team is willing to put in more than 1 year onto him because it's hard to trust guys on ACL bounce backs. But I don't hate that idea. It's just whether or not Hoskins sees it as a fit.
Accent Ty France and Ty Pete. You trying to get rid of anyone named Ty? I'm telling Ty Dane Gonzalez.
Double ties.
For Kepler, for 1 year of Kepler, I'm out. I would rather bank on the bounce back from France and then see what Ty Pete turns into. I would rather that.
TDG could go too. Poor guy.
Oh my God. What about Colby? You keeping Colby? I'm keeping them both. I love them.
Yeah.
Trade for Kepler and Polanco. Again, it makes sense, in my opinion. But if you're the Mariners and you are doing that trade, he's a throw-in. He's a player to be named later. I personally love Ty France, so I hate this thing go. I would rather bet on the bounce back of Ty France and use that money elsewhere. I don't know where you'd use it, but just in a vacuum, I'd rather bet on the bounce back of Ty France and not trade with Ty Pete for just Max Kepler for 1 year of Max Kepler.
I'm flabbergasted by Logan, Locklear, and Urias for Mountcastle. I'm not gonna lie. No.
Who
Too
said
much.
that?
Stu!
Oh, Stu! Hell
No,
no.
bro.
No. I love Ty France, but he's so damn slow, man. I mean, same though, you know? I'm fat, I'm slow, it just makes me feel good.
Someone else
Makes
out,
me
you know, we can relate.
I like to see somebody, you know, that looks like me out there. Thoughts?
I don't think anybody looks like you, bro. No one. Man, look at your hair.
Look at Alejandro Kirk, all right?
Fatty.
You're what? Oh,
That's what I said in the members only video when I unpack it. Like I packed him in on the show. I called him Fatty, and then I just Anyways, I is Willie Adames like really what we're going after?
I don't hate it, but I don't know what the package would be.
Let's go to MLB trade values to see.
Let's not end the stream now.
He said it. We got to end the stream. Sour Vanilla said it. Thank you. We don't want him. Sorry.
Sour Vanilla said what we're all thinking, and who's to say he's any good at baseball anymore?
Ty France Vladdy swap. Yo, now we're cooking.
Yo, T-Ball, thanks for subscribing, bro.
Appreciate it. I read that as Thai, Thai, and I thought we were just on still a big Thai train, but we weren't. It says T-Ball.
Oh man,
my inner Robbie Hyde. No. I just like to bring up the website because it makes Colton mad.
Yeah, I know. I hate it.
Some of it today, because I see their tweets on like pop up like this is a major overpay, blah blah blah. It was a major overpay from San Francisco or from the Rays, like in terms of their value that they had. But if Caballero was a shortstop, which he's likely going to be for the Rays, his value goes up. It's like, okay, like what are we like? We are literally just playing MLB The Show. Like we are just playing fantasy baseball with that, which is just funny to me.
Did they not see him when he started playing every day? How bad he was?
Yeah.
Like once he started playing every day, he was so bad. Like actual.
He just got very exposed.
Yeah.
Really quickly. And who's to say that he can't, grow as a player? Of course. Caballero could very well be an everyday player next year, and we'd be none the wiser in this very moment. But it doesn't fit. Mm-hmm. Develop Mike Ford into a pitcher again?
Great idea.
I'm in. He'll come back anyways.
Yeah, he always does.
Yeah.
The Seattle Mariners are his North Star.
Mm-hmm.
Soler reunion with Teo. Would love both, but just not a fit. Now, I mean, both definitely not. I could see one of them, but you're not going to love the defense you're going to get out of either of them in left field.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, that whole thing was Nightingale today, you said? That was like Soler still.
Or maybe it was Feinsand. I don't remember who it was, but
it's just, the fit just doesn't make sense anymore because
it's just got to be outdated.
Yeah, because obviously Teo or Soler more than Teo, I'd say, but both both be coming to the Mariners, they would likely split time between outfield and DH. And Soler would probably be more like 70-30. Teo could be 50-50. But with Garver, it's impossible to do that. Unless you can have two DHs. And just run eight fielders. Wait. Run seven fielders because the pit. Wait.
How is Hoskins' defense? It's not great, especially, and who knows, especially coming off of the ACL injury. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily want to risk it. But would Mitch have a better D? I mean, he definitely have one less ball, but yeah, probably better D than Teo, I'd say.
Sick joke, bro. That was a good joke.
But yeah, no, Mitch is a better outfielder than Teo. Can we trade Marlowe for what?
I think he can be a supplementary piece of something in a package for whatever, but he has not a lot of value, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Rhys Hoskins in 2022 was very blue in terms of defense. -9 outs above average. Fourth percentile. 28th percentile in 2021. Yeah, he's not great at defense, but first base defense,
Yeah, I mean it is.
You stand there and you
Mhm.
catch a ball. How bad can it be? We did it
Right.
for our entire
If our
baseball
fat
playing.
asses
Yeah,
could do it,
we could do it.
for sure. What are the chances of a Rosarena coming over? I still like the idea, Maggie, but I don't know. I just don't necessarily know if it's going to happen without trading one of the starting pitchers. Do you think did I already ask if
Hancock and Hancock and
yeah,
+2 prospects can get it done? Maybe.
yeah,
The right
maybe.
prospects. I think, again, me on my Jonathan Class A binge here might be not a bad lottery. If he can figure out how to hit, he's gonna be fine in the MLB because speed will play. He can just slap the ball down and then run to first base and he'll be on first, and then he can steal second, and then everything's fine. It's like he hit a double, right? And then you give them Hancock because you don't really need him because you've got DeSclafani and Kowar now, realistically. And one more guy outside of like in the 25 to 30 range, not named Jeter Martinez, I'd be fine with giving that up for Randy Arozarena. But does that entice the Rays? I'm not sure. And I wouldn't want to give up 4 guys for just one. I'd probably stop at 3. Depends on who it is. Of course, you could say 4 not good baseball players, but that's not the conversation. So, you know what I mean? Would I trade Zach Deloach, Cade Marlowe, Taylor Trammell, and Sam Haggerty for Randy Rosarena? Of course. But the Rays are going to do that.
Oh god, their 40-man roster crunch is gonna get crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see. As long as you don't have Sam Haggerty DHing the last week, that's what I'm worried about, bro. Especially, so let's play devil's advocate here, okay? So I would argue, the 2 biggest additions in terms of offense this offseason for the Mariners, Mitch Garver, Mitch Haniger, both have injury history and bad injury history, constant. So what does a world look like where one, if not both of them, are hurt at the same time? What is this lineup looking like? It's bad. My grandma just fell down the stairs. Gotta go. Good luck with that, bro. Good luck.
Hopefully everything's okay, Trey.
With Graham. Came from catching, by the way. True, but just because, it came from catching doesn't mean it can't, continue to still happen.
Yeah. Which he won't be doing now. Everything is solved.
Yeah.
The world is
fixed now. He won't get hurt anymore. I'm not afraid anymore.
I think without Mitch, it's just Dom Canzone, but against a lefty, he's never going to see the batter's box. So then it's Dylan Moore. Without Garver? Both Mitches?
Both Mitches. What if both Mitches just, are in stitches?
Oh, nice.
Wait, shut up. What if both? Let me redo that here. What if both Mitches are in stitches?
I like that the emoji pops up 2 seconds too late. That was good. So who's DHing then? Is the question.
Sam Haggerty.
We signed Mike Ford to a minor league contract, and we call and we hold him hostage in Tacoma until June again. It'll all work out perfectly.
I like that idea. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just keep going back to: are the Mariners better today than they were yesterday? Yes. Are the Mariners better today than they were a year ago or at the end of the season? I don't know.
I think
are they
in a vacuum? It's close, but that's dependent on whether or not you're on the Geno regression train, whether you're on the Mitch Garver can DH so he won't get hurt train. There's a lot of moving pieces with trying to project how the roster will look and if it's better or not. There has to be another move coming, which I think it inspires a lot of confidence in me that going to next year, the team will be better no matter what. John, appreciate $2. Trevor Bauer's just a big no. Ultimately, just no.
Let me address it. Well, this will be the last time we address Trevor Bauer in this stream because F that guy. He is, like Accent said, he's an arrogant piece of shit. He is. I don't care what you think about all the allegations against him. You can think what you want about him, whatever. even not talking about that, that guy is the most arrogant POS I can think of on a baseball field. He has a temper problem. If you think Jared Kelenic had issues with his temper, go look up Trevor Bauer's temper. All right, go look up anything. This guy thinks that he is all that and a bag of chips. He is playing over in Japan and says he's one of the 15 best pitchers in baseball. He's lucky if he's even top 50. The Mariners have 3 players better than him in their rotation right this second. He has pitching down to his science. Go look at his stats and tell me, other than 1 or 2 years, if he has pitching down to his science. He doesn't. He is not nearly as good as he thinks he is. And there is no 2 ways around that. Just the way it is. Go watch his interview with SNY. You're wrong. Go watch Driveline. He went to Driveline. Cool. So did everyone else. Good for him. He talked about it on TV. No one else did. Good for Trevor Bauer. Don't get me wrong. I think that he's a very smart guy. I think that when it comes to pitching, he is very smart. When it comes to his mechanics, spin rate, what have you, he is very smart. But that's because he is someone that has been out there and talked about it. Go look up Logan Gilbert. I guarantee to you, Logan Gilbert, if you actually look up how smart he is about plyo balls and spin rate and the stuff they do at Driveline, it's the same shit. All right. He is better than Trevor Bauer 10 days a week. There's not a single brain cell in this world that thinks that Trevor Bauer should ever play Major League Baseball for the Seattle Mariners ever. It's just the way it is. He is not a good fit for the clubhouse. He's not good at baseball anymore. He's bad. There's no good thing that comes from signing Trevor Bauer. Have a good day.
Grandma's good. That's good, Trey.
Shout out Grandma.
Shout out Grandma. Yeah. So, Mike Ford, the curveball's better. Yeah, agreed. Colby rant, L rant. Oh God, guys, guys. The parallels, they're beginning again.
Dodgers signed that guy for $200 million, and he was worth maybe 20. I mean, it's just look at his stats, guys. He's not as good as he thinks he is. He's really not. Like he had a couple good seasons. Congrats, bud.
Ultimately, I just don't think it makes sense.
No, and it also doesn't make sense. Why?
In the same conversation about Snell, why would we sign any pitcher? Like realistically, and because we're not trading Wu or Miller as of conversation that Dipoto had today, post the trades that they made today. There's no need to sign a starting pitcher of that caliber for any particular reason, because then it's just creating a logjam that is unnecessary. Can we diss Dylan Cease next? That was fun. Walks.
Dylan Cease can't throw baseballs in the strike zone very often.
Just here, we'll just you make a B with your hands somehow, and I'll make another one.
Is this straight or is this correct or is
BB? We're scaring him. We're scaring Dylan Cease. Doesn't know how to throw strikes. Sign Roki next year, yo.
I'm in on Roki.
Roki would be dynamite, but for me, Dodgers.
Probably.
It's just gonna happen.
So, did you hear about how Yu Darvish wanted to get all the Japanese pitchers to come to
San Diego, and then
San Diego,
and Preller was like, "Yeah," and then he said, "No." He said, "Yeah," with his fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I trade everyone for Spencer Strider. I'm in.
The mustache alone is worth it.
I love Spencer Strider.
Have a good night, D-man. Have a good night.
Yo, later, dude. He wants to play having him in a rotation with Yamamoto and Shohei next year. What about Murakami next year? So I think that the Mariners, greetings from the gym. Hey, Minnie Galen. The Mariners next year should be all in on Murakami. Thoughts?
I mean, I don't see another guy in our system that's going to be third base. So yeah, and there's going to be a very vacant spot for him.
Yo, Accent, you have a mustache? I don't know.
That's crazy.
I don't know what I've pictured you like in my head, but I'd never pictured you with a mustache. Donaldson at third base? Nah, dude's washed. Also a bad clubhouse guy.
Yeah. I mean, the foul territory stuff that Rowdy Talese was talking about, how he just didn't really say hi to him in the clubhouse or anything. It's just bad vibes. Bad vibes all around.
I don't even know what exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what you look like, but the picture I have of you in my head, you don't have a mustache. It's 4 months old. It's a work in progress. I shaved last night. It's already growing back. It's so annoying. Oh, I was gonna buy razors today at work.
Where's Votto
Oh,
going? Oh,
retirement.
probably. Maybe to Toronto to hang out with his home and native for a little bit as a farewell tour, but I think probably just retirement, honestly.
Words were hard.
He will have a beater year.
Ether. All the handy jersey. I hope he wears number 17 again, right? I don't think anyone has it, right?
I mean, it was reserved for Otani, so.
Right, yeah.
And like honestly, City Connect Haniger jersey is probably in my closet.
That's gonna hit.
It's probably in my closet by like June minimum.
Can Reese Hoskins play third? No.
Please no.
No. Because pitchers want to come here. I mean, why would you spend your money on that though, you know?
It's just if you are signing any pitcher, literally any pitcher, it doesn't have to be Blake Snell. It could be I don't even know who's available still. Who's a free agent still? If that's a pitcher. Literally anybody. It doesn't make any sense to sign them for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because for what Dipoto said, we're not trading any of the starting pitching that we ended last year with. There's no space because we've shored up the long man spot start depth with DeSclafani. We still have Emerson Hancock. We've got our Lord and Savior, Darren McCacken, still in AAA, waiting for his time to shine. Like there's the depth there that we just don't need to go spend money on.
Has anyone heard about, this is totally off topic, but Spencer just made me think about it. Of whatever the New Jersey stuff's gonna be like this season, like the new, like they talked about the kerning being fixed for the Navy jerseys. Like, is there something changing? We're missing a left-handed starting pitcher. I mean, so
I don't think it's necessary.
And yeah, I mean, you have lefties in the bullpen, so I don't really care all that much. You know, if you only had righties throughout the whole thing, sure, but yeah. Brian Wu for Max Kepler, that is the biggest overpay on the Mariners in history. Brian Wu is worth 10 Max Keplers.
Cool.
Maybe not 10.
Someone likes your hair.
Who likes my hair? Who said that?
Ravel Burns says he works at a special needs home. Phone on this. We're on the TV. Your hair, dude.
Thank you. So they like your hair, dude. Shout out to you, member of Ravel Burns' place, dude. Thank you. It's all natural, dude. I started going gray at the age of 12. Here I am at the ripe old age of 27, being a boomer.
Yeah, you look great, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Is Darren the new Chad's inning eater? No. It's definitely DeSclafani. Like,
yeah,
he is long man out of the pen, spot start guy that can be both sides of. If you need him to start, he can. Like what? Oh, what's his face?
Chris Flexen?
No, end of the year guy that we got. Who was like Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver. He is Luke Weaver.
Silver Fox Golden. Smooches, bro.
Smooches. Bro.
Yeah, he's better Luke Weaver. He's better Chris Flexen. You know, he's gonna be in that similar role. And I think that bringing DeSclafani on, it just makes sense. Chris Flexen on these hosts. It just makes sense to have him because, again, Robbie Ray wasn't going to be back until August. So that guy for you is probably going to be Emerson Hancock. Now you can start Emerson Hancock down in the minors. And it's possible that the Mariners do decide to go with a 6-man rotation to start the year so that Brian Wu can, you know, kind of not start the year throwing, you know, 50 innings in the first, 6 weeks.
Yeah, and
because
you don't want him. He's not going to make 32 starts next year. I don't think Bryce Miller or Brian Wu make 32 starts next year. I'd probably pencil Bryce in for 25, maybe 26. Wu probably around 18 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, with the starting pitching depth that's available right now to us, I could see that being their sweet spots. It'll keep them fresh. If you have to push them beyond that, you can, because they've shown resiliency in that way. But I don't know if it's necessarily something that you want to have to go out and do. I live in Northern California, John. Above the Bay Area.
I'll be there.
You will be there.
I'll be here in 19 days.
Mariners
Bring back Dustin Ackley.
Dude. No.
Dude, hey, Josh, dude, sorry I didn't reply to your text earlier. There was a lot going on. But I did see your text, I swear. There was a lot going on. I was trying to make a thumbnail. I was trying to make a video. It just got lost in the weeds, bro. I'm so sorry. I missed you. Smooches, bro. Smooches.
Hello,
I'm
Josh.
sorry.
Mariners World wants us to bring back Slam Tana to play third. What about him catching?
Let's make it happen.
Thoughts?
Would you rather have Carlos Santana catch next year than Seby Zavala?
Can he like?
He's thinking about it. He's thinking about it.
So can he stand? Can he stand and catch?
You know what I mean? He could be like a 1 knee down catcher.
Like he's like just like hunched, kind of a vibe. Like
I'm really excited for the stream to catch up to see, so I can see.
I think if he's just like doing like the dad squat catching your bullpen thing, or like the one knee dad bullpen thing, I think I'm in over.
How are your knees just now?
Great. It was just not as much space as I needed, unfortunately. Not as much space.
Would have rather taken a flyer on Nola as an Austin Nola.
He just signed with the Brewers today, right?
Yeah, he did. Austin Nola's bad, guys.
And we traded him for
so
many things.
Yeah. Johan Duran. I mean, if he was available, I'd love it. But
dude, he like we were talking about what Brash would get us in a trade. Duran is like I don't want to say double, but potential to be double what Brash would get you because he is unreal.
He's that good. Yeah, 101 mile an hour sinker. He literally made Jared Kelenic break his foot after an incredible at bat. And it's funny because I remember. Do you remember the exact at bat?
Yeah,
where Kelenic went and broke his foot.
No, because he like ran into the dugout, like into like the hall,
like
really fast, and I was like,
did he? I don't remember. I just remember watching it with my dad, and I was like, oh my god, like I'll be so interested to see how Kelenic looks. Like if let's say he strikes out here, what his reaction is. And I just remember thinking, this is a really good at bat. I hope he doesn't get too mad. And then he struck out, and he didn't look too pissed off, in my opinion.
He just went to the dugout, and
then he went in and broke his foot. Yeah, and I was like, oh, never mind. Yeah. It was a good AB. It was a great AB. It was probably his best at bat of the year. Zavala clears Nola, easy.
What about Randy? Randy Arozarena is a guy that we still could see. It's an interesting conversation because the deal we just made with the Rays today. So why would that also not just happen at the same time? Because you were saying you wanted to expand with Wu/Miller or whatever for more guys, but it just never came to fruition. But
yeah, like if it could have been like Cabby and Miller for Rayleigh, Arozarena, and maybe one other guy, like a lower level guy, I would have been in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of bummed it didn't happen. We've been streaming for 69 minutes. Omega lol.
Omega.
So yeah, I don't know. You were at the game versus Twins against Duran. Yeah, that was a tough game. Ryan Healy at third. Let's make it happen. How about we get Lux from the Dodgers? He's gonna start next year, isn't he?
I mean, that was their intention. I think that's their intention. It's just
if he's healthy, of course.
Yeah, and he doesn't. That's such an awful injury, dude. Because he was just gonna be their shortstop.
Yeah.
Last year, and then
I think he was gonna be their second baseman last year, wasn't he?
I don't think so. I think he was gonna try because.
Well, I guess Trey Turner hadn't signed yet, so.
No, yeah, Lux was just gonna roll in as shortstop, and they were gonna figure out second base however they wanted to. It's just as the year went on, Mookie being a second baseman just made more sense for them. But
what's a Murakami contract look like?
I mean, if Jung-Hoo Lee got 6 years, 113,
a lot
of money, more than that.
Yeah.
So,
what if Kelenic had hit a home run on that pitch? Then maybe he would have broke his foot celebrating. I don't know.
He Kendrys Morales on the home plate, just broke his leg there.
I remember when that happened. That was wild.
A wild time. Miller plus Wu for Jose Ramirez. Both pitchers. Can I swap out one of them to, like, make it not so hit hard on our pitching? Like, yeah, I'd probably do that, but Miller and Wu. Both pitchers.
Yeah, that's a lot. Like, would you do, like, Wu plus, like, Colt Emerson?
Yes.
Plus, like, I'm saying more than just that.
Keep going. I'll tell you when.
Colt Emerson, Ty Pete, Brian Wu, and then maybe Gabby. would you do that?
Oh God, that's 3 top 10 prospects.
Yep.
Uh,
Plus a former top 10.
Yeah.
But they pay down some of the contract.
Sure. Why not? Why not?
Who's better, Brian Wu or Bryce Miller? My opinion is Brian Wu currently. But Bryce Miller, all the stuff he's been working on this offseason, I mean, I have high hopes for him next year. I think that if things go the way that we all hope they should with what he's been working on, I think Bryce Miller has the higher upside, but I think that Brian Wu has the higher floor. Yeah, exactly. Kind of what Sam and Burrito said, huh?
I'm trying to follow what you were saying there.
I think that Bryce Miller has the higher ceiling, but Brian Wu has the higher floor. So, like, Wu's floor, Miller's floor. All right. But Wu's ceiling, Miller's ceiling.
Right. Nice.
Thanks.
Nice. Well, I think we've talked about as much as we really could.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what else to talk about. Mariners did things today for sure, guys.
Which is pretty sick. I was pretty happy that they transacted, which is nice.
Yeah.
We decided to stream this evening because I will not be able to stream on Sunday because I've got some folks coming in town, so I will not see you guys on Sunday like normal. So wanted to get in a stream for you guys this week though. So we appreciate you guys hanging out in the stream. A big day for the Mariners. So, what's next? Something a little. I think there's one more move coming, but I don't know how big it's gonna be. Let's talk about the Huskies. Go Dogs!
Go Dogs, dude!
Go Dogs! Gonna be watching because my dad's a big Huskies fan, and he's gonna be really into the game.
Huh. But yeah, no, we appreciate all you guys watching, hanging out with us tonight. Like Joe said, big day for the Mariners. Hopefully there's one more move coming in the pipeline, but this is a really good start to 2024. So really slow off season. Does Ryan Bliss come up this year? I think he comes up towards the end of the year, maybe, depending on how he's looking down in AAA, but we'll see. Sarah call-ups really don't exist all that much anymore, but yeah, it's 28 players instead of 26, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Predict Jerry's next trade. Jerry's next trade. Yep. Anyway.
I really just hope it's... I'll say this. I hope it's not Jonathan India.
Same.
I'll
as long as it's not that.
Mid-year if injuries push him up, I agree, Accent. Injuries or just underperformance from Arias or Rojas, I think mid-year is
his next trade. I got it.
Okay.
I just want you to end the stream after I say it.
Okay.
Jerry Dipoto's next trade. Brian Wu for Masataka Yoshida and Bobby Dalbec and a prospect.